I always like to start a project thinking of who first, like who does it really impact? To me, the biggest impact is actually the owners of the clinics, helping them generate more revenue, which
the single biggest problem is lead generation and lead conversion.
It's a CX tool. It's truly improving your brand, delivering better customer experience. And if I'm a clinic doing way too many jobs myself as the owner, and all of a sudden I start to generate more revenue, what do you think is the very first thing I'm going to invest in, right? More equipment and more people.
What if AI could fill your clinic's calendar while you sleep? Welcome to another powerful episode of Path to Profit. I'm your host, Jerome Dwight, CEO of BoomerangFX, the all-in-one practice management growth platform helping med spas and private pay health clinics scale faster with smart software, AI-powered marketing, and built-in e-learning. If you're a med spa owner, clinic director, or entrepreneur looking to attract high-ticket patients on autopilot, this episode is your roadmap. Let's dive into the future of clinic growth. All right, welcome everyone. So, Steve Southin, as CTO for BoomerangFX, you've helped architect some of the biggest innovations in our platform. Where does the launch of Auvia, powered by AI, rank in terms of transformational impact for BoomerangFX and our customers?
It's significant. Like I always like to start a project thinking of who first, like who does it really impact? My first piece there would be the person at the clinic themselves, especially the owner of a clinic. And if I'm picturing myself as a small clinic especially, I am wearing a lot of hats, right? Like I'm running around, I've got several things, and I'm never done. So even when I get home, before I put my head on the pillow, I'm doing a lot of work. That unfortunately impacts the most important driving factor of running a clinic, generating revenue. And how do you generate revenue? Sure, building your own book of business and having repeat customers is important, but how am I getting new customers? And how good am I at engaging those opportunities as they come? And we both know if I'm not hitting an opportunity almost today, as immediate as the thoughts in my head, like, oh, I got this spot right here. Actually, I do, right? But I've lived with it. And someone might have made a comment this morning about it, and it got me thinking. I went to your website, and I'm wondering about how do I get, treatment towards, reducing the spot. But I'm only thinking it today. So I put a lead on your website. While I'm thinking, I go to sleep, I wake up tomorrow, new day, I'm not thinking about it anymore.
Right.
So if you don't catch me right while it's a problem, you're not probably going to get me booked in for that consultant. And there's no better use of AI than helping you make sure that you're capturing every opportunity possible at the exact right time. But more important, how is that opportunity being managed? And even yourself, if you're swamped, are you really managing your leads as best you can? You're probably taking shortcuts, and you're trying to be quick with your responses, and you're not as patient as you should. AI's got as much patience as you want. Like, it's got all the time in the world. As long as that guest is still interested, and it's going to just keep going and be consistent at it. And I think that, to me, the biggest impact is actually the owners of the clinics, helping them generate more revenue, which when you look at our whole ecosystem, there's no more important thing.
Yeah, we've been working with clinics on the software side for years now, and you're quite right, Stephen. The single biggest problem is lead generation and lead conversion. Speed to convert a lead into a booked consult and an appointment. So I want to unpack what Lead Engine and Auvia is, because there's a lot of chatbots out there that could do some basic chatbot interaction. But Lead Engine is completely transformational. It is a human-like experience to reach out to leads, prospective leads that are interested in your clinic, and engage in a conversation and booking them in for an appointment without any human intervention from a clinic. Is that what we can expect with Lead Engine AI and Auvia?
I think you can even expect more than that, right? Because you're right, like that really happy path, that's where I almost see more of the typical chat bot that's available as a service for that, lead conversion. What about when it doesn't convert? And that's where I see the real magic of what we're building is, it might take me a day, it might take me a week, it might take me a month to actually get that person all the way along to be a book consult. And I think that's part of the real magic, is that it doesn't just live on a mission of right now. It lives on that, this is an opportunity. I'm going to work this opportunity until this opportunity no longer shows up in my CRM. Along with the knowledge of how to exactly re-engage. And the ability, I think the coolest thing is the ability to re-engage on any platform in any form of communication. That's, to me, really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Cross-platform engagement. So when a prospective inquiry comes in off of a Meta ad, or then continues on Instagram, or is back on a Google search, the ability for AI, Auvia, to follow them and then continue to engage with them until they book into the clinic. How cool is that?
That's cool, but it's actually cool for a few reasons, because the other thing Lily does is amazing, where I don't have to restart that conversation. It's like, no matter where I start it from, I'm always being served back to exactly the conversation we left off.
It remembers the history.
And as a user, like that becomes more, like I wouldn't have that problem with a real person, but with most chatbots, unfortunately, that's where they fall down. Is, I've got to re-answer a lot of the questions. You forget what I was already telling you about my problem. Not in this case, it completely sticks with you. So if you are that case where it takes a month to convert to be a consult, the path there is very seamless for you as the potential lead.
Yeah, our research suggests that clinics literally lose $250,000 on average in the United States on missed appointments, missed consults, and unconverted leads. Collectively, that's hundreds of millions of dollars of lost revenue, which we think Lead Engine and Auvia can solve. What were your challenges in bringing Lead Engine and Auvia to market? What are some of the biggest milestones you had to overcome to get this revolutionary platform ready for worldwide adoption?
There's a handful. Like one, just like continuing, like how can we continue the conversation? That was a big piece. But I think the biggest piece, like what makes this so different is, and I think this is the coolest piece of like AI period, is it's not what was done in the last year building this. It was what was done with Boomerang over the last decade of the knowledge of each specific type of clinic, and everyone is different. Every single there's no textbook on this, so it's really being able to take all that knowledge and then feed that to the AI in such a well orchestrated way that it's just gained 10 years of really in-depth domain knowledge that you would have to hire someone pretty spectacular working that lead at your clinic to top what it can do in the way it engages, the knowledge it has, the ability to give the person very concise answers to their question without any blurriness. But then also I think the other piece is to realize there are still times where a human has to interact, and I think that was another real feat. It's how to really get the understanding of when should this conversation switch gears and have a human engage with more sensitive questions maybe, or whatever. Building that in, I think, was a real core, and that's a real challenge because it's how to do that seamlessly where the end user It doesn't have to restart another conversation.
Right.
It's just immediately, we've got you, an individual directly from that clinic now in the conversation, answering your questions directly.
Does this leads to a pretty foundational question. Is Lead Engine and Auvia a revenue generation tool or a efficiency tool, or both, you think?
Definitely both, but I think there's a third. It's a CX tool, right? Like it's truly improving your brand by delivering better customer experience. And every business is, we all have gaps in customer experience. And I think that's the other cool thing. Like it's like you're setting yourself apart from the clinic that does very similar things as yours that's down the street, just by how you're engaging and the professionalism that you're always putting out there to your local market.
Yeah, and traditionally, private pay healthcare, no matter what category, medical spa, cosmetic surgery, dental, optometry, hair, they all have the same challenges. It's highly competitive, and you're trying to stand out in a crowd, and customer success is sometimes like that rapport building, that engagement with your end market can be the difference between success and losing that revenue. So I love that you were thinking about that as we've been designing Auvia and Lead Engine.
100%. Yeah, it wasn't just me. Like that's the other cool thing. Like the entire team lives, breathes, and sleeps the clinic's problems. Yeah. Right. So I think that's what's so exciting about even bringing such a thing to life is having the entire team, contribute towards how to make this great. Yeah. Really great.
One of the things I'm really proud about Boomerang is we often say internally, we're not just a software company, a marketing company. We really obsess about helping our clinics not only run more efficiently, but grow every day, bringing the tools and capabilities to help them with their growth in a highly competitive market. We're also pretty excited about the fact that our growth has been international, from Japan to Mexico to Brazil, using one of our solutions. Do you envision a day when Auvia and Lead Engine is used worldwide, engaging with those end markets?
Oh, absolutely, and that's just right around the corner. Right? Fuck the sales. Let's get this thing over to China. Right? And I think that's the next neat chapter too, is learning all of the differences of these regionality, subtleties that are different from, because that's the other thing, like how to communicate does definitely, we're seeing that just in North America alone, right? Like communicating one way in one part of the US versus the other, there's that magnified internationally, and that's exactly what AI helps us do.
So one of the things I'm always asked at a lot of conferences and panels that I sit on is like, will AI remove jobs? So in this context, will clinic staff become redundant because we've now got an AI front desk agent? What's your thinking on that?
So until we have true generalized AI, everyone's safe. But there's a job transition going on, but that would go on if we didn't have AI, right? If we just built better tools, more efficiency, we're gonna have a job. That's a built-in the job market. But let's just go back to the very core motivator here of helping a clinic generate more revenue. If I'm a clinic doing way too many jobs myself as the owner, and all of a sudden I start to generate more revenue, what do you think is the very first thing I'm going to invest in, right? More equipment and more people.
Right.
So I'm actually creating jobs when I'm generating more revenue. I'm not going to start reducing jobs. So the more AI is, like, that's why I love the project, because it's not one of those. It's a project that's actually helping create jobs because it's helping revenue up these clinics.
Yeah, revenue growth is at this is the North Star for everything we're doing for our clinics. And, I think this tool is really going to become a defining technology in private healthcare. Where do you see the next frontier? Some of the things I've been, whiteboarding with you is like, post-care nurture pathways, the follow-ups, the running of the inside of a practice, from optimizing the scheduling, the inventory management. Are all of these things, we talk about this a lot, so just for the audience, we're excited about bringing these under the, I wouldn't say under, but powering these activities with AI that could possibly do it better.
Oh, absolutely. And it's neat, like once you actually get in with the clinic and understanding, like, just work bottom up and not you and I writing in the whiteboard, here, let's build this next. It's understanding their biggest pain points and then just working those pain points through the list, right? Start with the large, it's going to help you generate more revenue. Yeah. Focus there first, and then what's going to help you save money second, and then just working down the list. But it's how we get so intimate with the clinics so that we actually find those answers to those questions versus us saying, hey, we could just run your entire clinic. Get the clinics really the tools they need when they need them, and the ones that give them the biggest value and maximum return. Coming about, that's the exciting, fun part of where we go next. It doesn't really end, right? They can basically hit us with, problem 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we prioritize it based on the impact it's going to give them. But by the time we get to 4 and we return, they'll have 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we just keep looping until they're running the absolute best clinics in town and nobody can touch them.
One of the things we've always heard that healthcare is one of the most inefficient categories, and the exciting things for us is that we are not only making it more efficient, we're making it more profitable, and on a growth trajectory. When I think about Lead Engine AI, and I love your perspective on this, it comes with a built-in growth toolkit, from integrations to built-in ads on Instagram and Meta and Google, where your clinics can just launch their ads simply, track all their inbound lead inquiries, respond to it, and now with Auvia, turn on an AI agent to have Auvia respond and book, and then automated follow-ups. So that entire full funnel marketing for a clinic, how transformational do you think that is for the average private play clinic?
Incredible, right? Like, show me a large corporation with multiple clinics that's doing it at that level. None of them, right? So you're going from what you could be if you were the biggest, right down to you're now the smallest in the neighborhood, and you're running like a powerhouse. To me, that's super exciting.
That's awesome, right? Yeah. I want to leave it there because we could talk for hours, and we're going to have another session on this as we get closer to the grand reveal of Auvia. But Stephen, it's an honor. I'm so thrilled that you agreed to be part of this venture, and proud to have you on my team, man.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.